welcoming you to our basic science class today. In our last class, we discussed chemicals part 3. We saw chemicals in its adhesions nature, and we saw chemicals that are toxic. We saw those that are less toxic, and we saw those that are not toxic at all. We rounded up with part 1, part 2, part 3. Today we are entering work, energy and power, part 1. So this is the first part in this series. And on this series we have 3 objectives. We will explain what power is, what energy is, and what work is. In our subsequent classes, we will see how we can explain further using mathematical formula and how we can apply this in our basic science class. So we'll go to the first one, work. When we talk about work, what does it mean? To a layman, work is any activity that you get yourself involved in to get your daily living, to get your wages, to get your salary, to give you a living condition, to help you be able to care for your personal needs. That is work to a layman. But in sciences, how do we look at work? How do we explain work? In science, work is energy transferred by force. Energy transferred by force. In this your JSS2 classes, we'll discuss what force is. We saw how force can be applied on an object. And we saw different things that can be involved. So, when we look at work, we look at work from the aspect of energy being transferred to force. Energy being transferred to force. That is work. It can equally be said to be the use of bodily or mental power to perform a task. The use of bodily or mental power to perform a task. We can equally say that it is represented as the product of force and displacement. It can be said to be the displacement, or we can say that it is a product of force and displacement. Now, when we discuss more about work, we're going to see how can energy be transferred into force. The SI unit for calculating work is joule. So, when we start applying it mathematically, you're going to see how work and force work together. How does energy transfer to force? We'll talk about that when we are calculating the mathematical area of work. Then we look at energy. What is energy? Now, in our normal everyday life, energy is that which is converted into heat. Energy is that which is converted into light. So that which gives us heat and light converted can be said to be what? Energy in our normal everyday life. Sometimes we can say that energy is that which is taken to give us vitality in our everyday life. And so in this class, what do we say it's energy? The ability to do work. That's energy. The ability for us to do work can be referred to as what? Energy. Because if you don't have the ability to do work, that means you don't have the stamina or the power to put in the work. So in science, we say that energy is the ability to do work.
the strength and vitality required for sustained physical or mental activity. Power is derived from the utilization of physical or chemical resources, especially to provide light, heat, to work mechanically or with a machine or with our own physical strength. So when you look at energy, look at it from vitality point of view. Look at it from the strength point of view. Look at it from the angle of that which we possess to be able to carry out our daily work. And that which enable us to convert both physical and chemical substances to give us light, heat, and other things that can help us energetically. And the same way we calculate work is the same way we calculate energy. It's equally calculated the same SI unit of joule. So that is for energy. So we have been able to explain what work is. We've been able to explain what energy is. That energy is work. Work is energy transferred to force. Work is energy transferred by force. Why? Energy is the ability to do work. Work is energy transferred by force. Energy is the ability to do work. So we have seen these two objectives. Then the next objective is power. What is power? To a layman, power has to do with physical strength. Power has to do with authority being possessed. Power has to do with being able to be a leader and having subordinates under you that you can take care of. That is for layman. The act of strength, the act of leadership, the act of being authorized or having authority to possess, being able to be at the forefront to take leadership position. That is power to a layman. But in science, how do we look at power? What is power when we are discussing basic science? Because we've seen what work is in a normal life environment, we've seen what energy is in a normal life environment, and we've seen how it applies in our basic science class. So let's see how power applies in our basic science class. Let's see the last objective we were still talking about, power. Now, in this our class, how do we look at power? Power is said to be the rate of work done. The rate of work done. That's power. We can equally say that it is the ability or capability to do something or act in a particular way. But basically, power is the rate of work done. So, we've been able to cover 3 objectives. We've been able to look at work, we've been able to look at energy, and we've been able to look at power. In our next class, when we discuss more, we are going to look at work as it is expressed mathematically. We're going to see how force and distance equal to work. How force and distance equal to work. Remember, we have talked about work, that it is energy transferred by force. Energy transferred by force is how we look at work. And we look at energy as ability to do work. So that means that one leads to another. Energy transferred to work. If it is energy transferred by force, then energy is the ability to do work. And then power is the rate of work done. That means the 3 are interrelated. That means the 3 work together to achieve a purpose. Work, energy, power makes up a whole. So, we will see how in our next class we'll talk about other forms of energy We'll talk about potential energy, kinetic energy, and we'll talk more about work, force, power, and other things that we'll look at in this topic. So remember, we've been able to cover the first objective, explaining each of these terms, so that by the time we start expressing them mathematically or using example to see how force apply to an object, you will not be confused. So follow along as we discuss this, just as you followed along in our chemical class, as we discuss these three concepts that will help us to understand how they work together. It was my pleasure being here. If you have not subscribed to this channel and you are here, please subscribe. If you think of anybody that can benefit from the class, please invite them to be here. Share the video, tell the world about us. We covered the Nigerian curriculum, and this is our basic science class for JSS 2. We have covered your JSS 1 classes, and this is the 13th episode or the 14th episode in your JSS 2 classes. So navigate through the channel, you will find it. If it will be difficult for you to navigate through the channel and find each of these classes, please head over to Class Online School. We'll get them all together for just a token. It's always my pleasure being here, and I'm happy that you are here. You are my community and I love you all. Remember, I always tell you this is not a monologue class, not just me talking, it's a dialogue class. Let's go dialogue below the comment box. If you are dropping by on the channel and you want to support us, please interact with us below the comment box. We'll tell you how you can support the channel. Give us a thumbs up, give us a like, so that we'll know that you love what we're doing here. As always, it's my pleasure being here. Thank you for being part of this community. Until I come your way next class, please keep studying, keep watching, rewatch, and let learning be part of it.